Hi, I'm Samantha Belford with Kids First.
And I'm Allison Buck. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing legendary actor Edward James Olmos about the film Walking with Her, which releases April 30th for a 3-day special in-theater event via Fathom Events.
Edward James Olmos has been featured in many awesome films, such as Stand and Deliver, and TV shows such as Miami Vice and BattleStar Galactica. In addition, he has won an Emmy and a Golden Globe, and has been nominated for an Oscar. Mr. Olmos, you have had such an amazing career with so many memorable performances. What made you want to work on this film?
Samantha, this film, I was very, very fortunate in being able to give him the opportunity to work on it because of the story. It's a story that I really appreciate and I really thankful for. Very hard to make good stories like this because people usually want to see car crashes and, shoot them up and bang, bang and whatever. But this deals with the ability to have a second chance, the ability to have faith in oneself. And it deals with some of the things and values in life that I really appreciate. And it was written by a wonderful man, Mark Medoff, who wrote Children of a Lesser God. He won the Tony for that play when he wrote it, and he also was nominated for an Oscar for the film. And all I can tell you is that he's a wonderful writer, and it was a gorgeous script, and people have enjoyed it that have seen it. It's because it's uplifting, it's funny, it's got a lot of emotion to it, so you'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll think a lot.
That was very inspiring to hear. So, Edward, your character Joe, he's very funny, he's witty, he's a bit sarcastic. In what ways do you relate to this character?
Well, basically, I relate to him because of the trauma that he's going through. It's something that's very difficult to take. When the story begins, it's a very sad day. He's burying his 4-year-old granddaughter who has died of a disease. And he's lost all faith in himself and his life and in his understanding of his spiritual guidance. And so he's done with living just about. It hurts him too much to realize that he's still alive in his late 60s, early 70s, and she's gone. And that we're burying her right next to my son-in-law, who had died 4 years before she was born. He died in the Afghan war. He was a doctor, and he was killed in the war. So there he is, and then we're burying her right next to him 4 years later. So it's not a good day. So the movie itself deals with values that I really appreciate, but are very difficult. But at the same time, it becomes really a beautiful story of faith and second chances. And so in the time that we're living in right now, it's perfect. And Mark Medoff did a wonderful job in writing.
I totally agree with you. I think it's perfect for the time right now.
This film deals with loss and faith. Are there personal experiences that you drew from to create Joe?
Yeah, a lot of them. And especially during the time of this era, we did in 2019, but the realities that we faced with are permeated itself into 2020 during the pandemic. So it's been quite an experience all the way around. But yeah, it definitely, the loss of loved ones is a really incredibly difficult thing. All I could ever say to you and to everyone is, may you get to bury your parents, and may your children get to bury you, and may that chain never be broken. Because when that chain's broken, then life becomes something else, and it's very difficult sometimes to take. But we can. With second chances, you can continue on forward and get an understanding of what it is to really be thankful for and have faith in oneself and in God.
I thought that was a very beautiful response to that question. So speaking of, personal life experiences, I thought you had such a natural connection with the woman who played your wife, Sheila, Kathleen Quinlan. Is there anything you would attribute to that?
Oof. just the beauty of her as a human being. She's an incredible actress, tremendous artist. And ever since I saw her in um, her Academy Award nominated performance in Apollo 11, she's been extraordinary. And I got to tell you, it was an honor and a privilege to work with her and with George Lopez. George and myself and Catherine had such a wonderful time working. And we were working in Las Cruces, New Mexico, which is where Mark Medoff lives and the director lived. And so we have had, it was a wonderful experience. So yeah, it was once in a lifetime with Catherine. She's incredible.
And I think the dynamic that you're telling me about, how you guys had such a good relationship, it really did show on screen. So you can tell when people kind of either know each other or they, I don't know, you had such a natural connection, and I love to see it. You don't see that all the time with actors.
Yeah, I was lucky because it doesn't always happen. And I'm very grateful that it happened because we needed it in this movie a lot.
Your performance as a golfer comes off as quite believable. Do you golf off screen?
When I was younger, I did, back in my 30s. And of course, now I'm quite old. But it was perfect because I did golf when I was young. So I was, in the movie, I play a person who has not golfed since he was young, 35. It's the last time he golfed. And he now is in his 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And he hasn't touched a golf club since the last time he played when he was 30, in his 30s. So, and just like me. And so if we were kind of rusty. So it doesn't look like, you know, I've been playing every day for, 50 years. But it does look like I knew how to play once. And now I took it up again and I have to play it again. And it's a very difficult sport. I'll tell you, it's one of the most beautiful sports I've ever played. But boy, is it hard, really hard. Okay. And I will say that, so I felt real natural in the part because I was playing a person who hadn't played golf in many, many years and had to train to play golf. And so you see me training, and the training helped me, but I also trained to hit thousands of golf balls before I did the movie. And it was quite an experience to get back into shape.
So, I think that was great the way you just told us about your golf experiences. But on the topic of golfing, of all the things that God could ask of Joe, why do you think he wanted him to win this golf tournament?
I think it had a lot to do with the character. Now, the character is one who, when he was young, was destined to be a professional golfer. And he was just about ready to go into the professional leagues and be brought up into that status when he mentally broke, and couldn't play anymore. And so he stopped it. So he stopped his own dream. And instead of pushing through and coming back and understanding himself, he couldn't do it. He lost it. And so he hadn't touched it. So when God comes to him and trying to teach him to have faith and to teach him to have an understanding of himself and reestablish himself as a strong person who wants to live, who wants to give, who wants to help others, then you have to start at the very beginning. And so he was perfect. I mean, see, for those people who may not have a chance to see it, or maybe will see it if they hear us talking about it like this, it deals with a man who's lost his faith and has no hope. And then a messenger of God comes to talk with him. And that's George Lopez. Now, if you don't know who George Lopez is, you can look him up. But he's a pretty funny guy. He's a wonderful comedian. And George and I go back 50 years. We've been friends forever. But he comes as a messenger. I don't know he's a messenger until he tells me, hey, I'm a messenger from God. And I say, all right, great. Yeah, okay. Because at this point, when I meet him, I don't have any faith. So I don't have any belief in God or anybody. Forget it. I don't even have faith in myself. So, you know, I'm having trouble getting up in the morning. So that being said, that's where the story, how it moves itself, moves around. And then Mark Medoff, who's a brilliant writer, wrote some extraordinary scenes and beautiful scenes and human scenes that just make you feel so alive and so thankful that you saw the movie. This is one of those movies where you come out and say, wow, I'm glad I saw this one.
I definitely agree. And I know we have to wrap up soon, but I agree on the message that God was saying, you need to follow your dream. And just because life goes on, or just because their life didn't go on doesn't mean that you need to stop living. It's like you need to keep
just the opposite.
Fulfilling your dreams.
Just the opposite, Allison, just the opposite. And that you have to really understand that you have to live for them. You have to keep them in your memory, move them forward, and continue to be and celebrate them, not mourn them, but celebrate them. And that's what we can do with those that have come before us and or have left before us. We keep them with us all the time. And so therefore it becomes a total strength in character.
Thanks so much to Mr. Edward James Olmos for joining us today to talk about the upcoming film Walking with Herb, which premieres April 30th for a 3-night event in theaters through Fathom Events. I'm Allison Buck.
And I'm Samantha Belford. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss one of our or our amazing teammates' reviews and interviews. Bye!
I've never seen two sober people in a golf course have this much fun.